So today we're going to try out the Arteza Gouache.
Hey there, I'm Elaine and I've been painting for several years now. I mainly use Winsor Newton and Holbein gouache, and I started reviewing art products lately, so I just wanted to try more affordable gouaches. In my last video, I tried out Himi Jelly Gouache, and you can watch that video to see what I thought about that. But in this video, we're going to be talking about Arteza, which I've heard such good things about. It's super affordable, and I'm really excited to finally try this. Gouache is an opaque watercolor, and it can be re-wet and dried to a matte finish. It can also be used like acrylic paint in an opaque painting style. So this set has 24 tubes and the cost is around $25 US. On the back here it shows us which tubes are transparent and semi-transparent and opaque. I love how there are tons of greens and reds in the set because I use a lot of those to paint flowers. Also the yellow and the whites. There's two whites actually, which is really interesting. Alright, I can't wait to try these out, so let's open the box up. Drum roll. Voila! I get excited every time I get new art supplies. Look how big these tubes are. Let's compare the size and cost to two well-known designer gouaches, Holbein and Winsor Newton. This Winsor Newton gouache is about $11.50 for a 14 ml tube. This Holbein cost about $12 per 15 ml tube. And this Arteza is about $1 for 12 milliliters. That is so cheap. Alright, so let's test these paints out and compare them further by painting with them. I'll be using the Paul Rubens Cotton Watercolor Sketchbook. I know a lot of artists prefer using cellulose paper over cotton paper with gouache because the paint binds to cotton fibers more strongly, so it's less forgiving. It's better to build up on cellulose paper. But I like watering down my gouache, so I love the feeling and the softness that it looks on cotton paper. So that's just a personal preference and the paper that I'll be using in this review. So I've just mixed a lot of lavender because it's my favorite color this month, and I'll be painting a pretty ornate door using this color. I'm starting off with the paint kind of thick because I want to see how smoothly it applies, and I like it so far. I'm also going to water it down to just see if it streaks or not. Right now, the feeling feels a lot like my Winsor Newton and Holbein gouaches. It feels pretty traditional, doesn't have any peculiarities. Here I've watered it down just to see how it dries, to see if it has any like streaks or pools. But I think everything is looking pretty normal right now, which is great because these tubes cost a fraction of my designer gouaches. I kind of wish I had gotten these when I started using gouache instead of the Holbein gouache because I wouldn't have been so stingy about using and experimenting with them. Also, after trying the Himi gouache that comes in cups, I started to appreciate gouache that comes in tubes because although you can re-wet the gouache, it's just less messy, you know, to mix colors without cross-contaminating them within like cups. And anyways, I'm planning to do a Himi versus an Arteza gouache comparison video later because they're actually at the same price point. So subscribe if you want to see that. I have seen so much amazing work with cheap paints, and I'm starting to believe that it's not the paint but the artist. I'm sure working with high quality brushes and materials matter, but I feel like it's especially obvious in markers, color pencils, and watercolors. But these Arteza gouaches are moving so similarly to my designer gouaches, and the pigments are so rich that I feel like you can barely tell if I'm using a $1 paint or using a $12 paint. Seriously, coming from a background of only working with Holbein and Winsor Newton for so many years, I'm really impressed with how this paint is applying. It's so smooth and so consistent. So far, I really have no complaints. So actually, I took a break from working on my shop to make this review. I had ordered this Arteza gouache right before the new year, and it came like a week ago, but I'm only getting to it now. If you've been following along my small business journey, then you'll know that my digital art shop is going to soon be stocked with lots of physical, tangible stationery. I'm really excited because I actually took a long break from my small business. I got really burned out last time. Anyway, since I'm at a better place and I miss running my shop so much. So here we go again. Anyways, I've been recording my process and I can't wait to edit that vlog and show you all. Alright, back to my painting. I've been playing with opacity and really watering down this gouache to test the transparency and to see how it dries. I'm really liking how this is turning out. I'm just kind of adding some different shades of brown just to create some depth. So yeah, honestly, I would totally recommend this Arteza gouache. It's going to dry pretty nicely, I can already tell. And I regret not adding some white to make the door handles a little more shiny. But anyway, here you go. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you next time.